Welcome along, my fellow cartoonists. Today we are going to be having a go at this mountain lion or puma or cougar. It's got a few different names and we're going to have a little go at drawing it. If you stick with me, I'll try and take my time and not rush ahead. We're going to draw this puma together, and I think if you just follow me, we're going to do it in about 10 minutes. This is a very shallow M shape. Little point in the middle, looks like a seagull at this stage. Okay, you can't go too far wrong with this at this stage, because if it looks a little bit different than mine, it's just going to look like your own type of cartoon puma. So the ears are just coming off the side there and back down like a little triangle shape, but they're curving up a little bit, if you can see that. Okay, it just curves up, not quite pointed, just a little rounded bit on the end, and then back down again. So we've got the top of the head and the ears. We're just working our way down this cartoon again. That's like the inside of the ear, some little furry, whiskery bits there. I like working down the cartoon here. So going for that, from that pointed bit in the middle, round about there, we're going to have a nose, and all it is like a little curved triangle shape pointing down. It's got a little dome on the top and a little V underneath, and if you can do that around about there, it doesn't matter if it's higher or lower. This is our first attempt, so don't panic, don't expect to get it absolutely spot on, but it lines up with the middle of that head, and from there a little line coming down. Don't panic about getting everything in the right position. This is our first go, and we're going to make this like its little mouth area, its little cheeks, but from that line that we've just put going down, we're putting two little lines. It's almost like little legs coming off it. If it was like a matchstick person, then we're extending those a little bit, just straight. And once you've got that, we can join it from the nose, curving round to there. So we've got like the little cheek area, I don't know what you call it, the muzzle of that puma. So if you just got that little line coming down there, two going out on an angle, then the straight bits either side, work either side. It doesn't matter if it looks a bit square, because this is our first go. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. We're got to enjoy this, and if you can get something like this, it's a good way of drawing a puma or a mountain lion. Now I'm just having a little rest here. I'm just putting some little dots for the whiskers. We're going to have some whiskers coming off there in a minute. So if you've got that far, we can now from the ear, or just past the ear, make a nice C shape, joining the ear to that muzzle area. You can just start just around about there, curve it round and down to the muzzle. We're starting to get a cat-like face. And it's quite a ferocious looking animal. I was only joking when I said it's, you know, I wouldn't like to go and stroke it. So we're going to have the fun bit here. These are the fangs, either side of those cheeks, just dangling down, little V shapes. And if you can do those, again, doesn't matter if they're not exactly the right position or the same position as mine. It's got to be right because it's your cartoon. So from the ends of the tips of those teeth, I'm doing a U shape. That's all it is, a U shape. It looks complicated, but it isn't. It's a U shape from the tips of the teeth. Then I can put some more teeth, two fangs either side, and some little teeth in the middle. And it's starting to look a little bit like a ferocious wildcat. Follow that line, give it a bit of a chin, a nice bit of a chin. And again, it's just joining up to those teeth. And what we're going to do here, we're going to put a line, not right the way to the top, I've just gone a little bit to one side then. You can make it central if you're better at drawing than me, which you probably are by now. And again, we're just going to have a little M shape there, just join it up, and that's the tongue of the puma. And we can shade that in because you're looking right down its throat like it's whatever it's hunting might be any minute now. So it looks like it's coming right towards us, this puma. It's a really dramatic sort of cartoon. Now the eyes, this is going to be looking a bit cross, like it's really focused, really looking at its prey. It's looking straight at us. It's a really dramatic cartoon, this, if we can pull it off. Hope you're keeping up. So there's the eyebrows pointing downwards, a nice curve on them as well if you can. We can make happier pumas as well, but I think this one looks a bit hungry, a bit of a bad mood. So these are curves going the other way, and that sort of represents its nose coming down because they've got quite a long nose. So we're putting that shape the other way. So we've got the eyebrows going one way, that curve going the other way, and that is creating the nose and the eyes. Now that's just like a round U shape there, not quite touching those middle bits, and that is creating the eyes, which are going to be really focused on whatever it's chasing or prowling. Now I'm going to put those little lines underneath it just to make it look really focused and a little bit angry maybe. We're always drawing friendly looking things. Well, this is looking a bit more intense. Look at that. Those little beady shiny eyes. It's ready for its lunch. Then you can just put a few whiskers, as many as you want, not too many, don't spoil your cartoon. We like to make them look detailed but not too busy. And if you can get somewhere in between busy and detailed, you're going to have a nice cartoon. And speaking of detail, if you want a little bit more detail on that nose, if it just looks like a lump at the moment, then I'll just show you a nice easy way of sort of drawing the nostrils. So if you do a line about halfway up there and just curve it one way and the other way, just a nice simple way of adding more detail to your cartoon. It's almost like a P shape on one side, just up and around, little loop it round. So you've got the head. You've got the head of the puma, looks something like that. Might look better than mine, might look a bit different than mine. But as long as it looks something like now, the paw, don't be scared of going too big with this. It can be as big as you like. Don't go small with it, keep it big. That's an M shape. That's an M shape, a nice big one. Just do it just to the side of its mouth. And there's an extra bit on the end. Now this is looking at perspective. That paw is coming right forward because that puma is coming right towards them. Now giving an extra line there, and you've got 3 N shapes, like 3 arches, and that is the ground. If you want to make it look a little bit like it's prowling through the grass, just put little spiky bits. Don't try and draw every blade of grass. We now know it's grass just by those little jig-jags. That's all we need. Again, we're not making it look too busy. We're keeping the focus on those mean old eyes of that puma. Now these are the claws, okay, ready to pounce. I hope I'm not scaring you here. In fact, no, I hope I am scaring you because this is a ferocious looking creature. So I'll stick a few claws on the end, and most of the body is hidden by that great big head. So what we're going to do is just a simple line going down to that last finger of the paw, and another line going a bit wider because it's coming towards us, that arm. And again, like we've done in the past, we're trying to get away with drawing as much as we can, but still having it look like a puma that's stalking towards us with those big paws. Now here's a really important bit. It's the shoulders, but it's a really nice simple way of giving it movement, okay? So starting from around about there, a great big N shape there, and a smaller one there. The reason being, its shoulders, that arm is making that shoulder sink down because it's reaching forward. The other one, the arm is back, so it makes the shoulder higher. And it'll make sense once you do the cartoon, because I'm just going to see a bit of the body just behind the head there. And we're getting a real sense of 3D perspective. There's the M again with the bit on the end. That's the other paw. There's some grass, and there's just that arm. You can hardly see anything of it. The head's in the way of everything. Little claws on the end. And look at that, the way that shoulder is stuck up there makes you realise that it's almost ready to pounce. And what about the back end? Its bum. All it is another curve shape. That's all we see of it. We can just about see its rear end ready to pounce. And like I say, it's a dramatic cartoon, this, but hopefully you're getting something like it. I mean, it's a difficult cartoon to look at. It looks difficult, but hopefully you can keep up. Now the tail, a curvy line, and whichever curvy line you make, follow it again with another line and then stop next to it. All you've got to do then is just put a little curve and you've connected it all together. So on the whole, if it looks something like this, it doesn't have to be exact, we're getting there, but I've always got to add something to every suggestion, and I thought this might be quite nice. Just watch it, don't try and copy me, because I had to speed it up a little bit. You can do it in stages. So I've done a straight line with a W. I've always got to add something a little bit crazy to the cartoons. I've got M shapes like a cloud, that's the top of its head. I've got a pair of ears either side. I've had to speed it up a bit just to fit everything in. There's a big U shape. I guess it's looking a bit like a sheep already. Now you're thinking, what is a sheep doing sticking its tongue out at a mountain lion only yards away? I mean, this must be some crazy sheep, but there it is. Looks like it's got his arms in the air, sticking its tongue out. But what it's got on its head there are invisibility sunglasses, which you can buy, you know, from most high street stores. If it wears the invisibility sunglasses, the Puma can't see it. So that's why it's sticking its tongue out. We can see it because it's a drawing, but the Puma, even though it's got really good eyesight, can't see it. So there are the little feet on the sheep. Maybe you can have a go at drawing this and you can slow me down a bit. There's little squares there. It's actually holding something over its head, and if you do draw this, actually holding a sign over its head, and that could be saying anything. I'm not even going to fill that in. I'm going to leave that completely up to you. So here's some more hyperspeed shading. I couldn't resist sort of shading inside, looking down its throat there. Scary. It can be any colour you want. On the cover of this cartoon I've done it sort of browns and beiges, but you can make it any colour you like. Let's see what you come up with. I like to see them. Anything in the background, you'll notice I shade it a little bit darker. Anything in the background, because it just makes what's in the foreground stand out, like its face is going to stand out more. And as you can see, that little back end of it there gets shaded in even heavier because that's right at the back. So that's under more shade, more shadows, and it just gives more depth to your cartoon if you sort of shade everything that's going to be in the background. Make it more in the background by just adding more shade. If you can have a pink nose, whichever colour nose you like, you can. Pippa, I hope you're having a go at this. That's one of the parents having a go, enjoying the cartoon. Watch it. You're right, these cartoons they're not just for kids. Anybody can have a go, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm glad your daughter's doing well as well. And Jake has been drawing wolves. This is a fair match for a wolf. I've just put some extra lines on the forehead there. There's some practice I did. I was going to have a chicken, but we did a chicken the other day. So there's a different way of drawing a nose I did there. I had a little play around with that. I thought the triangular one would be better with a little P and B shapes, whatever. There's a smiley one if you want to change the mouth. You can make the eyes rounder and make it look more cheerful if you want. If you don't want to look like a vicious one, just have a play around once you've got that basic shape. So give us a thumbs up, please. I need to know you're all out there enjoying this. Subscribe if you've watched a few. You'll never miss one. You don't have to draw them all. Just draw one that you'd like to have a go at. And I look forward to see you on the next workshop.